listen, I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's a tough thing to lose. I was at the Super Bowl this weekend. I was really, really excited for the Chiefs and our guys, but man, I was really, really down for the other team because I've been on both sides, and oh man, it's tough. You put so much into it, and the season has to end. But you know what? I'd rather have to deal with that feeling than to never get there. And I like the fact that we were a ACC champion team, we were a Fiesta Bowl champion team, a playoff win, and a few plays away. And we got beat by a great team. And when you play in the games like that, you're going to play a great team. We're 6-3 in the playoff era in those games, and they're hard. They're hard to win, and you got to make the winning plays. And there were some winning plays that we didn't make that they made, so they won the game. And but our guys competed, man. Our preparation was unbelievable. I mean, just tremendous preparation, focus, commitment. I mean, I can't be more proud of our team. And so, it was a great year. But as you said, the great majority of our roster never lost a game. And so from that standpoint, it was something that I paid close attention to, especially with Trevor. I've never experienced a loss with him, but it was. He was amazing. How he handled it, how the team responded, and back to work. It was a gut punch. I mean, just for sure. You're down for a couple of days, and especially with our profession and with what these kids are doing. We all come up short sometimes in life. We all have disappointment. We all fail according to the objective. But most of the time, that failure, that disappointment, is confined to a small group of people, or just your business that you have, or your family. But with what we do, it's in front of everybody. And you feel that pain, you feel that burden, because you want to get it done. So again, I've been on both sides of it, and I know the agony of it, and I know the joy of it. But it's all good. It's all good, and it's all part of life and the journey, and you got to love it all, man. You can't have fear, that type of stuff, and you just grow. Either way, you grow. And that's a decision and a choice, how you respond to the win, how you respond to a tough loss. And our team has been amazing. The leadership's been great, and it's been good for me to be able to kind of see that, because again, so many of these guys, I was convinced we were never going to lose again, like ever, like 250 in a row and right off into the sunset. But we're probably not going to win the national championship every year. But hopefully we can be a team that's got a shot year in and year out. And if we can continually be a team that's got a shot, then we'll have those years where we'll finish it. And it just takes so much to get there, and just so our guys have done a great job.
Trevor was okay.
Trevor was great. He was very disappointed. He was disappointed, but his leadership was tremendous. He went around the whole locker room, talking to his team, his teammates, and these guys have been great. So you know what? As a competitor, I have a great respect for the team that won, because they won it. And you shake your hand, their hand, you tip your hat, and you dust yourself off, and you get back up, and you get back in the fight, and that's what we're gonna do. Man, it's over. It's over. So it's a new year. It's like I said, a new decade, and a new journey. And for us, we're 3 weeks from today, we're back on the field, man, and we're going to start the process of building this 2020 team and getting ready for 6.5 months. We get back on the field, going to Atlanta. Our schedule's out. I can start kind of visualizing that a little bit. And again, most of our guys are here, so we can start really molding the team and see what we can do next year.
Coach, you lose 3 of your top 4 safeties. How much do you think Mickens and Venables will be able to come in and compete for that 2 deep with with Zanders and Jordan and Charleston and Turner, those guys that you got coming back?
Well, they're here, so they're going to have the opportunity this spring, so that helps them for sure. But let me tell you, we knocked it out of the park with these guys we got. Our roster is very good. Obviously, having Nolan back, and now you throw in Zanders and Charleston, and we redshirted Ray and Jalen Phillip. We hit on all those guys. All those guys can play, all of them. I mean, we're really, really fortunate with the group that we have, and now you throw in Nickens and T-Bone, man, you got a group right there. So we're going to be just fine. Same thing at corner. Same thing at corner.
Coach Marcus Bowman's name, Mr. Football in Florida today. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Oh, that happened today?
Yes, it happened today.
Yeah, he's special. I mean, he's he's another version of Spiller. That's kind of when I first put my eyes on him, and that's pretty high praise, you know. And he's a long way from that, but as far as just high school tape and explosiveness and track speed, legit track speed, the ability to catch the football, you know, every time he touches it, he literally can, you know, go the distance, could return and those type of things. I mean, I think there's a lot of similarities between the two, you know, coming out of high school. He's a little thicker, probably than CJ was, but he's got that type of explosiveness, and it's easy to see, you know, coming out of the system that he's been playing in.
Injury-wise, are there any guys that might miss the start of spring or
spring? Well, Niles is a guy that's still nursing back his ankle, and so he's rehabbing through that. You know, we'll know more once we get here through these next 3 weeks. But Booth we had to clean his knee up. You know, he should be back. Might be a little limited early, but at some point he should be able to get back out there and do what he needs to do this spring. He really kind of battled through it all fall, but it was still good for him to get the experience that he got. So that'd probably be the main two. Then, you know, as far as the guys like McClure, we knows out, and Maloney and Constantine, those guys might be able to do some individual type stuff, but nobody really knew. Nothing new that's come up other than you know, whether or not Niles, where he's going to be with his rehab schedule. Yeah, and I think Blake. I don't know if he'll be cut loose for the spring, but I do think he'll be able to get a significant amount of work. You know, football work, football movement type work. I don't know that he'll be cut loose to like go scrimmage, but hopefully he'll be able to get back into the groove of football and you know, just the footwork and some drills and things like that. Snapping, he's a guy that, you know, one of those guys that we cross-train. So we're hopeful.
What was some of the feedback Travis got as far as what he needs to improve on?
Oh, I'm not going to get into all that. I mean, it's pretty nitpicky if you ask me. If I was in the draft this year, he'd been my guy if I needed a running back. I know there's other great running backs out there, but he's pretty special. But you know, we'll talk about those things. We've talked about them, and then we'll go through spring, and we always do exit interviews April, May, and we'll talk about some specific things that they need to do, but not going to get into all the stuff that's reported because it's pretty detailed. But you know, from a big picture standpoint, he just needs to continue to be consistent, just continue to be a complete player in every aspect of it. And I think he's done that. I mean, he just needs to just stay the course.
When you look at the way that y'all have recruited the D-line over the past several years, what's been the biggest key, you think, to that?
Well, evaluation. I mean, I think that's really the big key. We've been on the right guys, and you know, really not just the last couple of years, really since I've been the head coach. I think. I mean, I just think our ability now to go, you know, 10 years ago we weren't going to go get Brian Brzee. 10 years ago we weren't going to get Christian Wilkins. You know, so we've had to really evaluate well, and you know, Grady Jarrett. We've had, and then development. Grady, Deshaun, Josh Watson, you know, Miguel, Malachi, Shaq. You know, we've had some Dodd. Dodd was a guy I don't even think anybody knew who he was, and he was a great player. Vic was a developmental guy. So I mean, I think we had to really evaluate well. And you know, occasionally we got the guy that everybody wanted, but not all the time. So evaluation and development has been our key. And then as we've had success, you know, we've been able to get more of a finished product type of a guy. You know, a Christian Wilkins, a Dexter Lawrence. You know, Andre Branch. I go back to Andre. You know, Andre was a 2-star recruit. So that's the biggest difference. It's just the guys. A lot of these guys coming in now. Now we took 2 developmental guys last year in Rook and ET. You know, really high potential guys, but they only played football their junior and senior in high school. You know, they were soccer players and basketball players, but high potential. So, but definitely developmental. And some of these guys now that we're signing, they're just you know much further along when you watch them. And, you know, that's why everybody in the country is recruiting them. Is they're just kind of guys that can, you know, like a Christian, like a Dexter, who can pretty much help you the day they show up. So, you know, that's the biggest difference. Our evaluation is still critical. Our development is still critical, but just, you know, where we are brand-wise, we're just attracting more of a finished guy.
Y'all are really off and running for 2021 already. How seamless has the transition been with Coach Bates taking over that role, and how much do you think Coach Streeter kind of enjoyed not having as many responsibilities as far as that?
Oh, Todd's been great. I mean, he's a natural, and but you know, listen, Jordan Sorrells, you got to start there. Jordan is, and now he's running our recruiting. He's the director of recruiting, and Jordan just does an amazing job, as does Ty Clements, and you know, Lindsay. That's kind of our group back there. They've done a great job, but the transition, you know, of Streeter and Todd has been seamless. And Todd's just he's a perfect fit for that role. He's passionate about our program and the way we do things and identifying the right guys. So it's been good. It's been really good. Off to a good start. And like I said, it won't be as big a class this year. We're going to probably be in that 15 to 18 range. You know, right now, again, the roster can change, but that's looks like where we're going to be.
What was your overall evaluation of the receivers in the 2 playoff games?
The receivers did fine. You know, made. I didn't think we played great against Ohio State. I didn't think I mean, you know, we had some good moments. Thought we played a lot better against LSU, but we just missed some plays that were there. Just didn't make them. Just missed them for whatever reason. And but I mean, they did good. They did solid. I mean, you know, you're playing, you know, elite guys, and a very small margin for error. And we had some good plays. It was a tough break on T at the end of the game. You know, I mean, that's a play that a lot of times doesn't get called, and sometimes it does. It was one of those sometimes. So you just live with it, you know. But there was a lot. There was a lot more there. We didn't do a good job on 3rd down. Is the biggest thing. Probably should have been at least 5 of 11 on 3rd down. And if you're 5 of 11 on 3rd down, well, that's just the style. The game is different. The flow of the game. And even with that, we had a shot. You know, it's a 3-point game in 3rd quarter. Get that touchdown to T. It's, you know, 10-point game right there. And there's a lot can happen. But we just didn't quite put it. We just didn't have some of those winning plays that you got to make, and they did. You know, they made them. I mean, they had plays where we were just couldn't be in better spot. I mean, right here, and the ball's right here, and so you know, you got to tip your hat and keep moving. But you know, we just missed some plays.
Looking back, do you feel like you leaned on the running game enough to create maybe some more shorter 3rd down distances?
No, we had a little bit of both. You know, I mean, we again, if we're more consistent on the 3rd down, then there would have been more there. And then all of a sudden, you get in the 4th quarter, and the spread is different, and you know, probably got away from some of the base things that we do, but I don't have any regrets. I had none, zero. Just wish we could have found a way to get it done.
Dad, when you talk about those really big D-line guys, what about Trey Williams?
Yeah, he's y'all gonna love Trey. I don't know how many of y'all know him, but y'all will love him. Clemson people are gonna love him. I was up with his family in D.C. last week. His mom came in, and he's got his because he's been living with a host mom and dad, but they're all family and friends. Because he's from Connecticut, goes to school in D.C. At a great school up there. So awesome support group. But we just had the best time last week, having dinner and hanging out. And he's got a big personality. He's a very self-aware kid, very smart, and a dynamic type player. I mean, he's got a little bit of a Christian Wilkins type of personality, in that he's kind of a natural leader and things like that. But he's coming off of surgery and he's getting better. He's still got a little ways, but by summer he should be able to be cut loose full speed. But I think he's a guy that can play the nose. He can play the three technique. He can do a little bit of it all. He's got a good high football IQ, and going to be an exciting young player.
We'll take one more.
You mentioned Logan. Had he before kind of expressed his interest in being an actor?
No. I guess he expressed it with all of his videos that he makes and his alternate personalities that Coach Stiff and all that. No, that one really kind of caught me off guard. I mean, he's got 2 years of eligibility left, and he's a really good player. I mean, he's just a gritty, tough, hard-nosed player, and had a good year. But no, he just called and just said, that it's something he's been thinking about, and he just said, he had a blast this year. He had a lot of fun. He's got his degree, and he's kind of beat up. He was pretty beat up, and he just, he's an undersized guy at his position, so it takes a little bit of a toll. And he's an all-in guy. I mean, there's just one speed with him in everything he does. It's just one gear. And I think for him, and again, self-awareness, and I think, knowing that he had his degree and looking ahead, and, his mindset was like, maybe I get into a practice squad situation, and that's not really what he's driven by. And he's like, I really want to move to Los Angeles and pursue an acting career. And I'm like, really? Well, that's a first. I hadn't gotten that one before. So we talked about it and had a great conversation. And I just told him, don't forget me when he gets famous. And I said, a lot of times I played against, I guess, The Rock. I don't know if he played. I think he was maybe a red shirt or something when I was playing. But you get that a lot. He played D-line at Miami, and so I told him, I was like, that's what everybody's gonna be saying. Yeah, man, I played D-line with that guy, or he played D-line at Clemson 20 years from now. When he's some action hero, or maybe he'll wrestle first. He's probably good at that too. But he's gonna be successful if that's what he wants to do. That guy right there will find a way, because that's his DNA. That's how he's wired. Reached out to his dad because I think they might have been a little surprised too, but it's just what he wants to do. And but again, that's what education and graduation should do. And this is something he just felt like, I know I want to go do this, and I'm ready to go do it. There's really nothing holding me back. I've got my degree. I've had a great experience. I feel good about what he's accomplished, which is a lot. I mean, he started in the national championship game as a redshirt sophomore. So, excited for him, and we'll see what happens. I tried to get him in touch with Jock McKissick, and he had already talked to Jock McKissick, because I was like, well, let's touch base with Jock. Jock's Mr. Hollywood out there. He's done a lot of movies and different things, and he had actually already connected with him. And so I'm like, well, okay, well, there you go. That's my extension of Hollywood right there, Jock McKissick. I've got to expand my list. I don't know anybody.